Welcome to the medieval kingdom, a place where you get to explore how. What are we exploring, Rev?
We're exploring types and how they present themselves.
We're laying out a medieval kingdom. Everybody has visited a medieval castle, and whenever we go there, we feel like we enter into this new environment and we imagine ourselves, oh, I would do that. I would definitely not do that. So we took the advantage of this mutual fantasy that we all have, and we created this little experience for us and for you, where we are going to go through different spaces in the kingdom and how some of the types would prefer to interact and which roles they would like to take. So, in order to understand better why we're doing it this way, we have prepared the pillar energetics and the houses. We're also going to dive into the expressions and the simulation. Remember that the functions can be attached or detached, introverted or extroverted. It's going to be explained a little bit more in detail. Just keep that in mind. So for the houses, Rev, in IDT, what are the houses and what do they look like?
So first off, there are four pillar energetic types, four categories. For the introverted rational types, they're called self-reframers. They either lead with detached TI or attached FI. For extroverted rational types, they're called protocol chiefs. They either lead with attached FE or detached TE. For introverted perceiving types, they're called constraint narrators. They either lead with detached NI or attached SI. And for extroverted perceiving types, they're called seeker-destroyers. They either lead with attached SE or detached NE. There are also four houses, two functions working together. Sensation and thinking is building. Intuition and thinking is ideation. Sensation and feeling is guiding. And intuition and feeling is dreaming or imagination. It's important to note that it doesn't matter the attitude, so it could be an introverted function or extroverted function. As long as it's two functions, whole functions, they're going to formulate a certain process of either building, ideation, guiding, or dreaming. The expression function is just for introverted types, self-reframers or constraint narrators. For the self-reframers, they're going to have a perception extroverted function. For the constraint narrators, they're going to have a rational extroverted function. And assimilation only goes for the extroverted types, whether seeker-destroyers or protocol chiefs. For the protocol chiefs, they're going to have an internal perception function, either SI or NI. And for the seeker-destroyers, they're going to have an internal rational function of either TI or FI.
So if you need to read more about it, you can follow the link to the server and you can ask questions if you have some. So, a little disclaimer, the scenario that we're going to present next comes, first of all, as a reflection of my type. Doesn't mean that everybody will exactly behave how we're going to describe it through. This is an experimental exercise where we allow the types to gain life within the scenario and also how we see them in the world. If you feel that your type was not properly described, that's cool because everybody can have a role however they want in their fantasy in their life. This is the one that we're experimenting with it. The first scene is we are arriving at the castle. The sun is setting, and you can hear the music beyond the wall. You can smell the fried. Is it fried or grilled? Something smells delicious. Either way, you can hear the voices of the people having a good time, and you can hear how there's an atmosphere beyond the walls. You're still on the outside, and before you go inside, what are the three types, or what is the type that you would expect to see, Rev? I know who I'm expecting to see, but what is yours?
In this particular event, I would expect to see maybe a table, maybe be like a knife through the hands, kind of like a dagger when they dancing through the hands. Of course, if someone gets stabbed, then the kids is gonna go crazy. But you could play that off too if you got good actors who will take a stab and play it off.
In order for you to be entertained, blood must be
For you to be
drawn.
entertained. Yeah, just take a stab, act like the blood is fake, although it's real.
Well, I think when I go to these events, the two uh, elements that I kind of look for, one would be somebody that is bold, loud, and moving fast, which means that something is going to happen, and I feel it draws in my curiosity. Could be a knight, could be somebody dressed like regally going inside. I'm like, ooh, we have to go in. Something's about to happen. And something that even though it's not medieval, but I find that majority of events that I went, whether in the outside or the inside, is somebody that is just reading the terrain and is trying to find out who's coming in, who's coming out, and what sort of dynamics they're bringing in. So these are two very different approaches. One is just experiencing the event itself and is going through it, and people are moved from their experience. And the other one is just observing and collecting information from the people coming in without actually being affected by it and without affecting it. These are the people that, so the second example is the people that usually don't get seen straight away because there is somebody else louder or doing a magic trick trying to stab people. But they're still there, and they're an important, for me, a good event is when I can find these two elements. Also, before we go ahead, none of these roles are necessarily mandatory. So we could have somebody that does a magic trick that is very engaging and, bringing people in and pulling them in, very lore. But we could also have somebody that is, very intuitive, that wants to do that role. They're not limited to it. We are using these scenarios to open up a little bit and let you see how the type functions, even though it's not limited to that specific role or to that specific place in the castle. We are just putting these elements of the castle so you can visualize it with us through the story. And the first element that we're bringing that is very clear, which is if you go inside, you're always gonna look intuitively. I think we all look for it. Somebody that is communicating how are you supposed to behave? What are you supposed to expect? They're either giving you flyers or they're doing some form of entertainment, or they're presenting information or tools for you to embed yourself into the experience. So these would be the protocol chiefs. We have two types of protocol chiefs, the feelers and the thinkers. The feelers would be somebody that draws you in and includes your emotions into what's happening. They're aware of how you're feeling. If it's a little kid and it's feeling a little bit scared, a protocol chief will be like, "Hi, welcome," and they make sure that you can feel at ease, so you can enjoy that experience. They have a very warm aura, and they tend to be people tend to gravitate towards them whenever they feel like they're missing some form of information or they would like some form of comforting. Why is that?
Well, interesting enough, protocol chiefs feel obligated to answer to the call of other people's feelings. They themselves are the reason why those answers get called, because they put themselves in a certain situation to be able to attain the emotions of others by either engaging and being a little bit more expressive. And that initiative is normally taken by them. But they're not always talking. Sometimes they can hold back and not say much because there's already a host. It's good to keep in mind, as you said earlier, that anyone can do a certain role or position. It's just a matter of when you see this person processed in this way, more than not, they are a protocol chief.
They do have a sort of collective responsibility to do that because they also have the collective awareness of more than one person's feelings, and they have the intuition that allows them to maybe see what the person needs in order to regulate, because the instinct for these types often is harmony, is a collective harmony This is why protocols or social contracts come hand in hand with it because, oh, in order for that person or for the kids to feel comfortable, maybe we shouldn't have a barking dog at the entrance. Or maybe we should have somebody blowing bubbles. So they're aware of the collective needs, and the instinct would give them information collected from the environment because they're still judgment types, and then use that for the harmony. There's two types of protocol chiefs that are feelers. You have the FENE and FESE. What does this actually mean? The protocol chief that uses NE is constantly looking for creating more options, and then it's using SI as a simulation. It's creating in the mind because it's a dreamer in potential for the collective, and then by using the SI will create the environment for those to be laid into. In terms of energetics, FENE can be a little bit more bubbly or fidgety, which, for example, for kids can be harder to reach, or sometimes is just a little bit more effervescent all over the place. The NI function actually brings an interesting characteristic to the mentor, which it will around them you're allowed to slow down and actually focus on what you want, while still being included in the development, which is a very interesting characteristic. What about the ideational builders? So in this scenario, I think the ideational builders would be they are the ones that have the weapons in their hand or they're building something really cool. Really, probably it's already built, but it's a very detached energy. Like if you being there doesn't change what they're doing, and they're not gonna react to your experience. They're caring. This is very important to know. It's simply the way interacting with the information for them. It won't be as two-way as it is with the FE, since FE is attached, so FE will bring you into that experience.
So both of these types are extroverted, detached protocol chiefs. They lead with TE. One has SE in service, the TE, the other one NE in service. The SE in service is the natural builder with NI assimilation. The way that they go about serving their protocols is giving you a couple of options that could be better fits maybe down the road based on whatever situation that you're in. I'll probably put this type at the information table at the event alongside the other TE pillar type who has NE in service is the natural ideator with SI assimilation. This type will be a tad bit different, just give you a lot of reassurance that these are the places to visit within the particular castle, or this is the thing that a lot of people, they will have those metrics and this is the stuff that worked prior based on this particular service.
These are the protocol chiefs that will give you the information. They will give you the actual information that you need. They will give you more than that. They will also give you tested information. So everything that they share, they have experienced by themselves. They have researched, and they made sure to exclude faulty information, to make sure that you can find the result that you're looking for, which can be, hey, I want to go for a medieval beer, and they're gonna be bar is that way, food is that way. If you want to see them fight with real knives, is that way. So as soon as you have been instructed with how you're supposed to behave, how people will behave with you, what's the warmth that you're expected to have with the people, and how can you relax into it, also where to find the best mead and sword fighting corners, you're going to walk through the market, the crafting zone, that requires more attention to detail. And these are the constraint narrators, which would be the SIs, warm voices crafters. These are the people that will invite you and they will make sure that you tell them exactly what you need to tell them so they can sell you something that will change your life. Yeah, they want to make sure that what you're looking for, they will give you the best of what you might need that you don't even know how to get to. Or, for example, you want to bring a gift to your mother. I'm not really sure what to give her. So then they will strike up a conversation like, oh, what is she like? So there's still a use of possibility. Their intuition in the back. What is she like? What does she like? And then they will bring an article that maybe wasn't even on the table, but it's exactly what will bring joy to the person that you're thinking of or to yourself. There's other characteristics to them. This is just something that always draws me in. And then on the other side, you have the guardian. They're also perception types, right? So everything for them starts with a perception, and then they use their assimilation and expression to dig deeper into that. Something interesting that I recently noticed about the legislator is that they're really good at asking questions to find out what is important to you and why is important to you. Whilst the guardian will communicate why is important to them, which again, it's a very important knowledge to have. Then a group dynamic, if you have somebody that says, I don't want to do that because what is important to me is this and this, it can bring out awareness to faulty parts of the plan, right? It's still using information for the collective, while really good to asking questions and making sure that the people, when they make a decision, they're making it for the right reasons, and in according to their inner compass. This is something recently that I've experienced. So, after we have enjoyed a delicious mead crafted by the nicest, loveliest SI doll, SI pillar, that's what I meant. We hear some commotion. There's noise ahead, and we are attracted. We want to know what's going on. And apparently, people are screaming. Someone got stolen. Who was it? We need to go and find out. As we go ahead, we find out that somebody stole the princess. The king and queen are setting out to do a banquet this afternoon. The princess was in the market. We missed her. I mean, we got distracted. But the princess was there. Did you saw the princess?
No.
No. Oh my god. I mean, she probably was undercover.
I mean, if she was the princess, she would have caught my attention. No.
Exactly. Well, but she caught somebody's attention and she got stolen.
Then I guess the princess was nabbed before she got to the ballroom.
Before she even got to the ballroom. So, who do you think stole the princess? Who out of all the types, without a plan, a predisposed plan, which I think it's important to notice, would take the opportunity of seeing something shiny and stealing it? And he's really good at finding an opportunity where nobody else saw it. And where others see limitations or maybe lack of information, Annie, being an intuitive type, is able to pull out not only from their intuition, but also to magnetize people on their adventure because they're really fun and they can invite you into that dreamy space where you get to experience something new, like stealing a princess, or fighting to keep her, because I'm sure that there has to be a knight somewhere down the line trying to rescue her. The difference that we'll see in these two types of Seeker-Destroyer, they're both detached, by the way, is that one has FI assimilation and the other one has TI assimilation. These two types, being Seeker-Destroyers, means that they have an ideational intent, but they also are dreamers. They have the ability to see possibilities where others see limitations. They also have the ability to transform that into something that others maybe not see it. On one side, we have the NEFE, which is the politician, that uses TI assimilation. These are our charmers. These are the people that we are drawn to magnetically. And on the other side, we have the experimenter, which is the NETE with FI assimilation. Again, they're very open to that possibility and they're comfortable playing with that discomfort. There's a playfulness there. Now, we understood that the princess was stolen. Who's the first type to get into action? Who's the one that has the information since the beginning? He knew something was going to happen.
Well, let's say that he or she was expecting something to potentially happen for the contemplator being NI in service to TI start to re-question everything based on a certain window being cracked open. That wasn't like that about 10 minutes ago. So paying attention to the details that outside of themselves through sensation function, SE, is going to kick in ways to re-questioning what could potentially happen since that window was then closed. Now it's open. Whereas the SI in service, the TI analytical approach, maybe is like looking at a map, certain details within that map in relation to the castle walls, hidden chambers, perhaps, could be it was listed a certain way, or maybe they designed it themselves, and perhaps now they notice something on the map has changed, something that they didn't actually account for. A certain detail was missed, and that could ring bells into having an NE expression function. Start to think of possibilities and why that thing has changed or occurred. That can lead to clues for themselves as well.
So how I see it is that as soon as there is a commotion, which in this case the princess was stolen, I would see the TI um, first analyze where could that have happened, who could have gotten it based on the information that they have already collected, what are possible escape routes, and what are possible attack routes. That's what it says to me. So some of you might be asking, what exactly was doing a princess in the market, and how was she so distracted that she got caught? My personal theory is that the princess was also a seeker-destroyer. But you see, princesses, seeker-destroyers, they love adventures, and they hate being stuck behind boring walls and shielding fathers. So they went on an adventure on their own. They decided to, dress like a normal person, go to the market, see what experiences they could find. Maybe they liked the music, they wanted to dance and have fun and charm a stranger, very SEFE. Or maybe they wanted to see who was there and what people could they meet. What do you think, Rev? Are there any other princesses that would get caught like that?
I think a princess being the seeker destroyer would be more adventurous. Wound up finding a way behind the guard and being in the wrong place at the wrong time got her in a little bit of trouble.
Are there any other types that would be a
Yeah,
good prey?
every type is a good prey because it's kind of, yeah, it's just a matter of like knowing the prey, right? It's kind of like you know, they're, if you watch them long enough, you can see they have routines. And the ones that don't have routines, you don't have to actually, you just got to catch them when they screw up, which is more often than not. And you probably got to, watch them because they're more spontaneous. In this case, it'd be a seeker destroyer. But the ones who are more routine based, like introverts, they're probably easier to kidnap because they have a sacred place that they go to or a certain routine that they enjoy more, that they spend more time at. And now you got to monitor the guards to
So
see when it's,
what you're saying is that everybody has the potential to be action driven and focus on their goals, but everybody also has the potential to be immersed in the reality or seeking a satisfaction or seeking in their process of seeking individuation
sure.
and getting to know themselves. Well, friends, we have spoken about the princess, the knight, the protocol chiefs, and the builders. And now it's time to speak about the other feeling pillars, which are the introverted feelers. So we have the poet and the monk, self-reframers. They're also guided dreamers, and they would be the ones to see the story important to them and impactful to them and feel it so intensely that they would want to share their perspective on it. But they would do it in a very unique way since they have The FINI has expression SE, and the FISI has expression NE. Take it home, Rev.
So these are basically both of the attached introverted rational types. NI in service to FI is going to be the poet utilizing SC expression, and SI in service to FI is going to be the monk utilizing NE expression. The monk is more detailed when it comes down to defining themselves, who they are as an individual, but which is similar to the poet, but what differentiates them is the monk more playful ways through any expression, utilizing possibilities and not really constraint as much, at least from an intuitive point of view, as, let's say, the poet, because they have NI in service to FI. So they can tend to be a lot more stern into who they are as an individual, as a person, what things mean to them. They could come off a little bit more vivid, I would say, versus the SI in service to FI. The monk is a little bit more open, loose with their form of guided dreaming. And I just think that there's like a clear difference between the two in regards to their perception functions. And it really does show based on how they express to the world. So that NE, it being loose, is going to be an extended form of dreaming or imagination for the monk, which is going to very much loosen them up. And however, it's going to be an extended form of guiding for the poet, and that is SE. So that form of guiding is a lot more focused to what is in front of them, and because of that, it's going to create a more vivid approach from their dominant pillar function.
Mm-hmm. The poet as sharp, intuitive, and guided. Mm-hmm. Do, 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 do. So, now that we're talking about intuition, we should definitely mention the intuition constraint narrators, which are the ideational dreamers. These could be the astronomers. These could be the king's advisors. These could be the priests and priestess. These could be the investigators or instigators. Investigators.
So investigators, yes, but more from our perceptual point of view, as perceiving types who are introverted, who both lead with a detached uh, perception function of NI. Both is going to be vague, but TI in service to NI for the architect is going to be more conceptual in relation to a theme, meaning. We call them narrators, and they are constraint because it's more of a merging, narrowed down vision that is more pronounced and projected in a future oriented sense that is more vague in its nature. So although they are natural ideators, the architect, that FE expression is going to be their form of dreaming, extension of dreaming through FE. They will be less critical of protocols, less critical of principles in relation to systems because they are perception types. They don't focus on the ideas as much as they focus on the meaning and what they see, their viewpoint, their vision. That sometimes is hard for them to even track. The lack of detail in their anchor function is a reason for this being true. Now, when you compare that to the FI in service to NI for the utopian, it's still vague in the nature of where they see themselves, but where they see themselves is more personal. That's the FI. The relational part to that is going to be trying to perfect the meaning in the inner world that they want to create. That's why we call them utopians. And that inner world that they want to create is very much contingent on themselves, very personal. And that TE expression function will be extended ideation, finding ways to improve the concept that they have thought of externally as well through TE to help inform where they want to be, where they want to go, etc. And that'll be the difference between the two.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Indeed, indeed. So with this, we wrap up the medieval kingdom. We hope you like it. If you have any questions, you can add them below or in the Discord server. And if you found your type, or if there was one that you identified, feel free to look through the information and maybe decide to learn more about your type. And if you want to get a session, you can get in contact with the team. And if you didn't like, approach at your own help. Approach with your own consciousness. No, that's not what I want to say.
Yeah, so what you're trying to say is leave a comment if you disagree. And if you disagree and you haven't read the system, I will definitely reply to that one.
We will give you the adequate attention.